Hello everyone! Artec Studio 20 is here with all the new features for photogrammetry and 3D scanning. Let me tell you everything that you need to know. Please make sure that you are subscribed and enable the notifications not to miss out any of our future videos. Let's move on to the Spider II improvements. Some of them have been made in Artec Studio 19.2, but most of them have been made in Artec Studio 20. First of all, we had previously this option which is called Scan Decimation after scanning. It was available as a standalone tool. Now it's possible to run the Scan Decimation right after scanning. You will see a checkbox in the scan panel. So basically the idea of that is to reduce the amount of frames. The idea is that algorithm searches for similar frames captured with Spider II. For instance, if you're not moving the scanner fast enough, you might have, like, for the most part, duplicates of frames, which are not particularly useful for the fusion, but they are heavy, and and it will take a longer time to process your dataset with them. So that is why we recommend to run the Scan Decimation. So you could set a similarity tolerance, and the Artec Studio would automatically delete the frames that fall within this category. Let's talk about the camera gain of the Spider II. So we recommend setting the camera gain to low in case you are scanning some easy-to-scan objects, easy-to-scan surfaces, the surfaces which are matte and white, and in case you're scanning hard-to-scan surfaces such as dark, transparent, semi-transparent surfaces, glossy surfaces, then we recommend to set the gain higher. The problem with high gain is that actually it produces a lot of unwanted noise, and that is why we have introduced this variable gain while scanning mode. So what it does, it scans, so it makes the Spider II to scan one frame in low gain, then the second frame in high gain. So you could enable it here. And let's take a look at how it works. So one more important thing to mention is that if you would like to set and adjust the gain, it is important to set the Spider II to preview mode. So otherwise the option will be grayed out. So as you could see, I'm switching between those frames in the workspace. Let's take a look at the other slide. On the left, you could see a frame with low gain, and on the right, you can see a frame with high gain. This Batman figurine is a really good example of a hard-to-scan surface, because its surface is black and it's also glossy. That is why you could see that there are a lot of points which are not captured on the low gain, but they are visible on the high gain. Let's talk why this actually, how does it make a change from the user perspective? When you're working with the scans, you won't notice a difference when working with variable gain or with regular high gain, so it's basically the same. But once you're doing the fusion, the variable gain is really useful for the fusion algorithm, because basically if we have, it takes the good quality points which are stable from the frames that were recorded with the low gain, and then the fusion algorithm automatically uses the points from high gain if there are not enough points in the low gain frames. To sum up, the idea of this is to create a fusion with less noise, and without the use of the spray. This way, it's really convenient workaround to achieve that. And as you could see, here is the resulting fusion, and it's actually really detailed. It's quite impressive. That is the result of the fusion out of the scans made with variable gain. You could see that there is almost no noise whatsoever. The surfaces are very smooth, yet the details on the geometry are pronounced. Also, it becomes even more impressive when we think of that, because the figurine is quite small. It's around 5 centimeters in height or something like that. So the level of detail that the Spider II has been able to pick up is really impressive in my opinion. One more long-awaited feature that we have added for the Spider II is Autopilot. So yeah, there is not much to talk about. It's just regular Autopilot, and now Spider II is supported there. There are all of the prompts, as you could see, still on the screen, and there are some new options that you might that new users might find convenient. One really important thing that I would like to mention is the firmware update on the customer side that we have introduced with Artec Studio 20. It's possible to update the firmware for your Spider II right in Artec Studio. If you have outdated firmware of your Spider II, you're gonna see this prompt at the top of the screen that would tell you that it's time to update the firmware, and it's really important to follow this process through. Following the on-screen prompts, it's pretty easy. And yeah, I would like to mention that it's really important that the Spider II remains plugged into power and the computer is turned on throughout all this process to ensure the proper firmware update. Yeah, one more important thing about that, you might consider using the uninterruptible power source for that in order to make sure that the update runs smoothly and the electricity supply runs smoothly as well. So one more good feature that became possible because of the new firmware is called real-time fusion. So long-time Artec Studio users and Artec Leo users are familiar with that. So basically, it's all the same. It's really similar to the real-time fusion on the Artec Leo. As you could see, we can switch between the quality mode and the distance mode, same as Leo. And in my experience, this mode is much new customers, when you are doing a demo, they tend to like this representation of data much better than the points, because basically you have a model right away. On a side note, please make sure to update your NVIDIA graphics driver to the latest available version so that the real-time fusion is available and so that it runs properly. So one more change that has come to the Spider II, one more improvement, is the improved color accuracy and improved white balance of the data, of the texture that the Spider II scans. That is one more improvement for, let's say, so that is one more improvement that has become possible after the firmware update. And as you could see right here, there is this controller, the front panel of the controller right here. It has some of the stains, it has some of the imperfections, and we'll see it on the texture soon as well. So the thing is that it is a good benchmark, and it's a real life photo. Actually, if we turn off all of the overlays in the scanning panel, In Artec Studio 20, you are going to see better colors as well. So this does not apply only to the Fusion, but also to the scanning panel. And just on a side note, I would like to share like this technique for the scanning. If you're aiming at good texture quality, it's important to it's recommended to scan your objects at a 90-degree angle to all of the available surfaces. So, of course, it's not possible to position scanner in a manner that it is always positioned at a 90-degree angle to the surface, but still, please make sure to make some to adjust your scanning trajectory in order to record some of the texture frames at more angles. This way the texture projection is going to be more accurate, and there will be less distortion on the texture. And for instance, it might be really beneficial in case you have some sort of a pattern texture on your object, or in case you have some sort of an inscription text. It is a really good technique to avoid any sort of text deviation. So that is the final result that we got inside Artec Studio, with no tweaking, with no editing of texture in third-party software. So it's really true to life, and the combination of prioritized sharp images with the improved color accuracy and white balance results in a really supreme quality of texture that it's possible to achieve with Spider II. Yeah, and for reference, this control is right here. So the colors are really true to life. Now let's go further to the new features for the Micro II. Let's take a look at the video. So we have introduced the support for the third axis that comes with the scanner. Now it's actually possible to control this third engine right in Artec Studio. As you could see, here is a video of side-by-side Artec Studio and the real-time scanning process with this third axis. And actually, this third axis is really convenient in case you're scanning objects with intricate geometry that have a lot of different deviations, inner openings, and so bumps in geometry. This will enable you to scan this part in much more faster, as opposed to regular Micro II scanning with other vies. So please note, we recommend this third axis for rather small objects, and there is actually not that much reason to use it on objects with simple geometry. But if an object is quite small and has intricate geometry, then it's the best pick, because this way it would be possible to ensure the full coverage of the model with less orientations of your object. So please keep in mind that the third axis scanning may present some additional, some potential, let's say, misalignments on the frames, as you could see on the top screenshot. And this can be easily fixed by adjusting the search features within parameter, let's say, usually increasing it to 10 millimeters at first fixes all of those large misalignments, and then you can go back and reset the registration values and run it one more time at the default values to improve the registration even further. So the registration is not that, the global registration is not that demanding usually, so we recommend to do it this way. One more huge improvement to the Micro II is the HD mode that we have. So right now you could switch between the standard resolution and the high resolution, as you could see there in the user interface. So it's pretty self-explanatory. If you would like to scan your object, if you are scanning let's say, a relatively large object for Micro 2, then it might be worth to use the standard resolution in order to make the processing faster. But in case the intricate details are of a high priority, then you may set the resolution to high and scan in HD. Let's take a look how you can benefit from that in real-life applications. Here is a coin scanned in SD and HD. SD is on the left, HD is on the right. Obviously, the definition of the data on HD is significantly better. We have more points collected, and therefore the reconstruction is better. All of this geometry the bumps on this geometry are more true to life, and we preserve more details. Also, the text is better readable, and the ribs on the edge of the coin are also much better defined. One more real-life application. So here you could see this is a scan of a tiny lid from an energy drink. So you could see that in SD we have some data, we have some faulty data. We don't have a proper contour over there. So this carving is really small. It's something like, let's say, 1 millimeter, probably 1.5 millimeter in length. That is why SD struggled to record the geometry in those intersections between the geometry in those openings, which have a small distance between them. But since HD captures more points, so yeah, we're using the same scanner, we're using the same cameras, but in HD we have more points over there, and therefore we have a proper reconstruction. So in case you encounter a similar scanning scenario, you might consider the HD mode to fix those issues. Now let's move on to the Artec Point scanning. So here is a comparison between Artec Studio 19.0 and 19.2. So of course we have the same scanning in Artec Studio 20 as we had in 19.2. So yeah, as you could see, there is a huge improvement. The scanning is much faster, and the points that we have recorded previously, they remain displayed for much more time. So earlier we had some issues that points disappeared really quickly, and it was difficult to track the shapes that you have already scanned or not. Now it's completely not an issue, so it makes the scanning with Artec Point really much more pleasant, convenient, and fast. As for the Ray 2, now we support the RCP project file export for the raw data, for the point clouds with the Ray 2. It might come to use for, let's say, for the Autodesk users, for instance, for BIM users, or different sorts of users. So basically, the thing is that, for instance, in Revit, we can do the native import in RCP now, and it's really convenient because you won't have to convert any sort of your data, because you could export your data right from Artec Studio in a proper format. So also, once you have chosen the recap project file, you will find a bunch of settings that can be applied for this format. You can adjust the minimum and maximum range, minimum and maximum intensity. You could adjust the noise filter level. You could decimate your data, and so this might really come to use. Because the decimation of point clouds is typically used for BIM applications and for architecture applications. So yeah, it might be really convenient for such audiences. And last but not least, we have the improved user interface for Fusion, fix holes, and texture tabs. As you could see, it's more user-friendly. It is easier to navigate through, and so now you could adjust the Fusion, the inputs, the resolution separately for different types of input data for different presets. As you could see, we could separately define the resolution for Spider, separately for Eva and Leo, and separately for Ray right here. So that is for the Fusion. For the fixed holes, it's completely new interface. The functional is about the same, but it's a little bit faster and it's easier to navigate through. Finally, for the texture, we have also updated it to the new style, and one more convenient thing that we have now, once you have chosen the model to texture, the model origin data will be automatically selected, once again for the convenience of the processing. We have new properties for the Ray 2. This include altitude, GNSS data, and the compass angle data. So if if those options have been enabled on the scanner itself, and if they are available, so that is, for instance, if you're scanning indoors with Ray 2, then there might be trouble with accessing the GNSS signal, and in this case, we won't report the GNSS coordinates, and therefore they will be emptying properties. But yeah, in case all of this data is available, and in case all of those options are enabled on the scanner itself during the scanning process, then you're going to see them in the properties. So that's a huge update, especially for the forensic specialists, because it might be really important for them to document all of this stuff, and so that it would be visible right in the properties tab, and so they won't have to go into some files in the project structure. Yeah, it's really convenient, and you would be able to match your Ray 2 data with the real GNSS coordinates for different applications. One more thing that I would like to mention is that now the Fusion type selection is smart depending on the input data that you have selected. So for instance, for Artec Leo, Artec Micro II, Artec Point, Eva, and Space Spider, the recommended resolution is, the recommended type of fusion is sharp, and it will be set by default by Artec Studio. So you don't have to remember any of that. It will be set by Artec Studio by default automatically. And if we're talking about Spider 2, Ray 2 combined project, so for instance, Spider and Ray 2 together, then the Smart Fusion will be selected automatically. And for Artec Point with multiple resolution inputs, in case you're using a enhanced resolution for some parts of your model, then it's gonna the Smart Fusion is gonna be selected by default. But still, if you would like to choose your own type of fusion, you're free to do that. So it's not locked. It's just the recommended type of fusion that, from our extended testing, we have found provides the best results. Now we're going to talk about more advanced approaches, but before that, I would like to mention the changes to user interface of Artec Studio that you will see. That's the first thing that you will actually see once you launch the updated software. So on the left screenshot, you could see what we had before in Artec Studio 19, in Artec Studio 18. So basically here we had all of those different tools in one block, and it could be a little bit difficult to navigate through them as we're adding more tools such as AI photogrammetry that has been added with Artec Studio 19. So we have divided them into different separate standalone blocks so that it would be easier for you to navigate through them, and also it would be easier for new users, especially, so for example, if they are looking for AI photogrammetry specifically, they will right away understand which settings correspond to this operation. Also, you can make this tools panel really yours by customizing it, by hiding some blocks if you don't need them. So for instance, you don't use AI photogrammetry at all, or the other way around, if you're using only the AI photogrammetry, you can hide the 3D scans block, and this way it'll make the interface cleaner and once again easier and faster to navigate. So yeah, in case please just keep in mind that in case you accidentally hide something, you could always hide it via this cog button at the top next to the tools. Yeah, it's really convenient. And at the top, you're gonna see the workflows. That's the first thing that you're gonna have. And we're shipping like two default workflows with Artec Studio. One is for photogrammetry, it is the default sequence, and the second one is made for the regular scanner, handheld scanner processing pipeline that we have. Yeah, so now let's move on to the automation part. Please note that everything that relates to the automation and the launch of Artec Studio 20 via the command prompt, it's only available in the Artec Studio subscription. So still, all the workflows that are available right in Artec Studio, they are available in both versions. So that's just to avoid any sort of the confusion. All right, so let's take a look at what we see on the screen, and let's break down this command into like logical blocks. What does it actually do? So first of all, we specify the path to Artec Studio executable file. Secondly, we use the minimize key. What it does, it launches Artec Studio minimized. So for instance, if you're working with some other data, with spreadsheets, with emails, or something like that in parallel, you could launch Artec Studio right away with this key, so that it would launch minimized and do the processing in the background. Then the next key that we can see right here is close after. So it means that Artec Studio would close after the workflow for the data that you have selected is completed. So once everything is completed, Artec Studio would automatically close. This can be used if you are running processing overnight, for example, and it will just help you to save on the electricity bills because yeah, so Artec Studio will be closed and there will be less resources utilized by the system. Then we have this command which is called workflow name, and the name of the workflow is Spider II glasses. So that is the workflow that I have created in Artec Studio, and I have specified that this exact workflow is gonna be used for the project which is specified after that. So then, yeah, you could see the link to this, the path to the project that I would like to process with this workflow, which is called Webinar Spider II over there. So basically it means that Artec Studio would launch, process this project with the workflow Spider II glasses, and then it's going to close automatically once the workflow is completed. So yeah, that's one more convenient way to approach this, but that's just the basics. For you to get the understanding, it's possible to make this automation much more sophisticated. So here is the list of the commands that you could have seen on the previous slide. That's just a short explanation of all of those keys. And if you get lost during this processing via the command line, you could always run the help command, and you will get the list of all of the available commands. So you don't have to memorize anything. you have this list available right at your hand. So now let's talk about a more interesting approach for the automation. Let's talk about the usual scenario for the scanning jobs that is quite common, at least in my experience. It is very common that you have an order for a scanning job on site where you have to go, for example, let's say to some sort of a warehouse. You go over there with a scanner and you scan a bunch of stuff. So you may scan 50 different parts in one day, but you would like to deliver the result as quick as possible. So therefore, it's typically not practical to do the processing on site, and you do just the scanning of similar parts, and then you come back to your office, you plug in your SSD with all of those different projects, and then what you had to do before is to run the manual processing for each of the projects, which may be really time-consuming, especially if all of those parts are very similar. So here's where the automation of workflows comes to use. It is possible to write a script in order to automate the processing of all of those different projects. So let's say, for instance, we have scanned all of those 50 different parts, we have 50 different projects, and now we're writing a script in order to process all of those projects with a single workflow, or actually with multiple workflows. If you wish, we can write the script and all of those projects will be processed in a batch. So you just write a script, click one button, and wait for it to complete, and it would significantly reduce the downtime. It will allow you to provide the results, to deliver the result to the client, to the end client, much faster. And you could even add the export step to each of the for each of the workflows used for all of those projects. So once the script is completed, you're going to end up with a list of 50 models in a single folder. That, of course, it's better to check them. It's highly recommended to check them, but then you could send them to the end client and deliver the results really quick. Regarding the import, as I've mentioned before, the import is not available in the regular workflows via Artec Studio, but we have imports available via the command line. So here on the screen you could see the multiple commands that correspond to import of different entities. So first of all, if you would like to import some sort of data into Artec Studio, you would need to specify the input file and path to the entity that you would like to import. So for example, as you could see, it is possible to import E57 point clouds via this command line. So you should specify the path to this E57, and then you run this command, and you have the ability to import them separated or merged via the command line. So once the entities, in our case it's point clouds, E57 point clouds, once they are imported into Artec Studio, they will be automatically selected, and therefore a workflow can be applied to them right away. Then what else can we import? We can import the Leo data, and we can run the HD reconstruction right on the import step. So that might be really convenient. And then finally, we can import videos with extraction FPS argument. So for instance, it might be useful for the photogrammetry or the photo texturing, so photo registration. You might import a video via the command line, and you can specify the the amount of frames per second that are going to be extracted from your video into Artec Studio. So yeah, let's do a quick summary of the automation for the workflows. Once again, I would like to remind you that it's only available in the Artec Studio subscription, the launching of Artec Studio via the command line, I mean. So what can we actually do with it? As we've discussed before, it's possible to run your own Python script in order to do the automation. It's possible to integrate Artec Studio with different software packages, such as with Control X, as we've discussed before. So you could do a seamless automation between these different software, and you could get, as a result, it's possible to get a report, an accuracy report on your models. So it may be really convenient, and from my experience, it may be really crucial for some customers, because they may be looking exactly for this solution. Also, I would like to mention that batch processing may really come to use for quality inspection purposes, for quality assurance, because it's a typical scenario when we are scanning on a factory, and we're scanning the same part all over again. I mean, the part that has the same CAD available for it, but we have different actual data, and we scan those similar parts. So the workflow that we can apply to them is going to be the same. The settings which we can apply to them can be really the same. And so how can you benefit from the workflows and from the automation of the workflows? First of all, it may really come to use during the training for the new users of Artec Studio. That's a really convenient thing. Secondly, you can set up automations, you can integrate with other applications, and one more approach that you could use is sharing this workflow with your colleague inside your organization. So, for example, I know that in some organizations it's common that one person is doing the scanning job, and the second employee, he's doing the processing job, and this way you could speed up the process by a lot, because the person who's doing the processing, they may create the workflow for the person who is doing the scanning. They can share it, and basically the guy who is doing the processing, the scanning, they can launch the workflow the workflow on their own, and there won't be a need to transfer a heavy project. Please don't forget to like this video, drop your comments, and share this video with your colleagues and your friends. If you have an existing subscription for Artec Studio, please know that you may update your version to Artec Studio 20. If you don't have one, you can purchase it via your reseller or right on our website.